guys, welcome back to another episode of the Whiskey Diaries. My name is Martin Lang and we're here at Death and Taxes, and today we're going to be talking about a beautiful whiskey and distillery, the Talisker, in this case the Talisker 25-year-old. Now Talisker is part of the classic malts owned by Diageo. It's a great whiskey that should be in everybody's back bar. It got created in 1830 by the brothers McCaskill in the town of Carbost in Skye. Skye can be considered part of a region that is called the Island regions, which is basically Islay, Jura, Skye, Orkney, and a few little islands here and there that basically comprises of basically a completely different region to what you would call Speyside, Duff Down, and so on and so on. Now, the reason why I mention this is because it's very important when a whiskey that comes from an island will be very different to a whiskey that comes from mainland. The reason is because they get pummeled by ocean and the high winds that brings a lot of salt to the distillery and basically creates a very particular character. Now, the Talisker went through a massive basically history, like many distilleries around Scotland. It went down, it got renovated, and so on. So in 1960s, it burned down completely, and then when they rebuilt it, they actually did a carbon copy of every single still that was created in the 1830s. Until 1920s, 1930s, Talisker was still about 3 times. Now, after that, they went through a more classical approach that is basically 2 times distillation. Now, the pot stills are very unique to Talisker in themselves. They have a very swan neck-like that basically promotes reflux distillation, which basically what it means is that the whiskey, when the vapor starts rising, the swan neck basically allows them to basically get redistilled on the top, and basically what it does is just create a stronger character to the whiskey, like a more heavier whiskey. And this is one of the reasons why Talisker, sometimes compared to other whiskies with higher ppm, it actually feels that Talisker might come across a little bit more smoky than something like Lafroig, for instance. Lafroig has something like 30 to 35 ppm. Talisker, on the other hand, is more like 18 to 22 ppm. So it's on paper, on book, basically seems like it's a lot less smoky than the counterparts. But it actually, when you try it, it's actually very similar type of smoke. And that's because of the heavy style of whiskey that it is. Now, all Taliskers get bottled at 45.8 ABV, including this 25. This 25-year-old bottle at this strength started in 2011. Before the 2011, if you can find yourself, all 25 and 30-year-olds actually came at cask strength, up to 57.2%. I think it was the last one that they released. Beautiful whiskies, but I personally like that they reduced it down to 45.8, 57 ABV, including for a 25-year-old. I still think that it's a little bit strong. 48.5, I think, 45.8 for me carries a lot more of the aromas and everything, and it doesn't literally burn your throat. That's me personally, but other people actually do love the cask strength. Now, most of the whiskies in Talisker gets aged in American oak. This one is not exception, so 25 years exclusively in American oak. They put, the beautiful thing about this one is they put the bottle number in this one. This is bottle 2318 out of 5900, basically 5946. I think it's always really cool to have that little information in there to make it a little bit more special. Now, we did the reviews on the 18, the 10, the 41 and the 30. I'm very curious to see how the 25 matches up to it. This is a great whiskey. It's a great value for whiskies as well. For a 25-year-old, this goes for about 550 Australian dollars online, which is really reasonable for this quality of whiskey and this basically age of whiskey. It'll be hard to find a better whiskey for that price, for less than that price. On the nose, is a little bit more different than the 18 and the 10 that we've been trying. The smoke is a lot more subtle. It doesn't come as strong, and it's like almost like a grassy aroma to it that is very different to the 18. The mouthfeel and the taste is completely different to the nose. You get a lot of dark chocolate, a lot more complexity, obviously being older. And it's almost like, compared to the other ones, it's almost like no smoke in this. It's a lot softer. It still has an incredible palate weight, and as soon as you swallow it, a little bit of that campfire smoke, but it's very, very subtle. This is actually an incredible complex whiskey, and you can ponder it. You can sit on one of these for a while just thinking about it. It's a great whiskey. I highly, highly recommend it. Hopefully you enjoy the video, and we'll see you next time. Slàinte.